So in a series of videos, we're going to be looking at some of the tools I used in a bathroom remodel that I've been working on here for the last several months. We basically gutted this bathroom and have kind of put it back together and changed a few things. And there's some tools that I bought specifically for the project as we put it back together. Things I'd probably wanted for a long time and I didn't get, which is what today's first tool will be. And then there's some tools that I've used way more than I thought I would. And we're going to cover a lot of those. For those of you who are doing some remodeling over the winter months and you want to tackle some things, there might be some suggestions or ideas in there that will help you. First off, I've gotten into battery-powered nailers. I've got a 16 gauge and an 18 gauge nailers that we use for a lot of things like doing some, putting some trim work on, some baseboard on. But I needed a pin nailer, which is a 23 gauge. And I went with the M12 version of a 23 gauge pin nailer. Battery's not in it, so I can, don't have to worry about stapling or nailing myself. But a couple of things that are a little different than a traditional, the other nailers that we have. First off is that there isn't a safety where you push in on this, and then once this is pushed in, then you can pull the trigger. The safety on the pin nailers is generally somewhere in the trigger where you've got to use one finger to hold and the second one to pull this. When you do, there would be a battery and you do this and you pull that, it will fire a nail and it will fire it anywhere into anything. Yeah, so you got to be careful with that. Pin nailers are not something I would recommend having around younger children for sure. Any nailer, any tools really, but this will shoot anywhere from, I believe, about a 5/8 inch up to like an inch and a third, somewhere in that ballpark. And I'll put a link in the description because you can buy this little kit of multi-sized, which goes from that 5/8 up to an inch and 3/8, but it's a multi-pack, so it really gives you everything you need in this. Yes, you can go buy the more expensive ones at Home Depot, and I'll put a link in the description for these because some people really want to get the name brand ones. But this costs almost twice of what this costs, and then I have a lot more flexibility. But you open it up and you can drop in your pin nails. Now a 23 gauge is a very, very thin, fine nail with really no head. It does have arrows on it, so it shows you which way is down, and you can slide those right in and you're ready to go. There's really not much maintenance on it. There is the adjustment, the height adjustment. Where is it? Is it on this where we can go and adjust? Right there. There we go. It's here somewhere. Every one of the power tools like this have an adjustment for how much pressure to put in. And where I use this is that we used a lot of 1/2 inch for some of the trim around here. We used some 1/2 inch thick popple. And we wanted to do something that we could paint and such. So you're seeing a spot right here where we ran that in. And basically, we cut 45s in the corners of these little frames. And then we would use the pin nailer to pin them together, making a much stronger connection on the corner. And then we could use it in other spots where maybe the 16 or 18 gauge nail would split the wood. With a pin nailer, it's possible, but very, very unlikely that you're going to split the wood. It costs around a little over $200 for this particular. I have batteries, so I didn't need the battery. I just needed the bare tool. In this project, it's been one of the greatest little tools that helped clean things up, making those little corners, those 45-degree corners, staying tight together so that the trim pieces don't move. And then I used it also to build a cover for my daughter's hamster cage. She wanted to have a little bit different cover on it than what came with the unit. So we built a frame with it and pinned it together very nicely. So definitely something I'm glad I got. This is the first project I purchased it for, and I look at a couple of things I've done in the past where I've split the corners of some trim. I wish I would have had this back then. Link will be in the description below for both the pin nails, the 23 gauge pin nails, and of course the unit itself at Home Depot.